My advice to a potential entrant to the Third Sector Awards would be really clear about what you set out to do. Then be really clear about how you did it. Give the judges an idea on budget, on the number of people who perhaps saw your project or your campaign or whatever it might be. And give it a bit of a human side as well. Get some quotes in there. Let us know what people thought of it, whether it be staff, service users, or anyone else, and really demonstrate that impact. That's where the scores come from.
Use words wisely. You get very few, so use them wisely. Do not repeat things in there because you've got 200 words to get across. Really think about what the impact of the person's work is. So it's not just about what they've done, but what's actually the future impact? How does that align with your organisational goals?
Try and get as much personality into it as possible and show your passion, because that's really important for us too.
Be very clear in what you've done, but give us the tools to see all of the elements as a campaign. Sometimes we see entries that sort of talk about the wider impact or talk about the kind of wider elements within the communications, but they're not always in the case study. So I think it's really important for us as judges to be able to see every single element of that campaign to truly judge it and to make sure that the things that are perhaps talked about in the entry, we can see they really ran, they really happened, and then the real kind of impact statistics back up that whole kind of approach and why that entry was kind of put together in that way.
If you're writing an entry, make sure you answer all of the criteria. It's so easy to just talk about what you want to say rather than what the judges want to see. That's really important. Tell us as much as you possibly can, albeit that we know that the word count is short. Tell us things like how much it cost, what the results were, what your debates were, what things didn't quite go well that you thought they might, and actually be open and honest about that, because that's really important for us when we're comparing one against another.
So for anyone planning on entering the Third Sector Awards, my personal advice would be to combine human interest stories with cold, hard data. And the human interest stories will provide some warmth for the judges to really bring your submission to life, and the cold hard data will really demonstrate the impact.
Be very clear about what you do, to talk about what you achieve, but also talk about how you achieve it, because we're looking for the leadership, the management, the method, as well as the results. And then in terms of impact, try and make it comparative, try and show progress, and try and avoid just simply throwing a lot of statistics at us.
In the categories that we judged, what really stood out for us was the categories who could express what they do simply, they could prove that they had a plan, and they could demonstrate impact. They're the ones that are successful in this.
I think any good entry needs to have a story and a narrative which goes from beginning to end, which shows the impact and really proves that against what the objectives were.
Think really hard about what it is about your work in the year that you're applying for that stands out from other years where you might have been doing great things or building on a strategy that is a multi-year strategy. What has it been about this year that really makes you stand out, and really telling that story really clearly?
Be very clear about what it is you're trying to say. So if you're going for something like a team award or a campaign award or a marketing award, make sure you talk about that rather than say the wider organisational work you do. So actually think very carefully about what is it you're being judged on, what is it the judges want to hear, how are they going to perceive you, what are they going to take away from your message. If you're going for something like a marketing campaign, make sure you tell us how you marketed it. If it's a fundraising campaign, make sure you tell us how it raised money, how it inspired donors, how it engaged your supporter base. If you're going for a team, show us you're a team and how that made a big difference. So really think about the categories you're going for and what the judges are going to be looking for in that.